Hello, Steelers Nation. How would you like to win a trip to Canton, Ohio? That's right. All you got to do is like Let's Talk Steelers on X, Facebook, and YouTube. You got to do the trifecta. Let's Talk Steelers. You'll be entered to win a trip to Canton, Ohio. So I want you to like Let's Talk Steelers. You'll be entered to win a room night in Canton, Ohio, and a tour of the Hall of Fame. So let's talk Steelers. Welcome back to Let's Talk Steelers from Italian Village Pizza. Trattoria, Mike. Trattoria, say it. You don't speak Italian?
Welcome back.
Welcome back. You got to come to Waterworks Mall. Come to Italian Village Pizza. If you like homemade Italian pasta, like, well, you're Irish. Your grandmother didn't make pasta dishes, but homemade gnocchis and pasta. Everything is homemade here. It's not coming off some corporate truck shipped out of Louisiana 8 days later. Please come to Italian Village Pizza, Waterworks Mall. If you come one time, guess what? You're going to keep coming back here. They've got drink specials, college game day, $3 Coors Light, Bud Light's always $3.
Good pizza too.
Oh,
New York style.
You had 2 pieces last week.
I enjoyed it. You got to get Barstool here. You got to get the Barstool guy in to rate the pizza.
Portnoy.
Yeah.
How come it always looks like you ever see his reviews? Like he stole the pizza and he's running out the door when he comes out there.
Well,
he runs out and it's like it looks like
because it's probably too loud in the restaurant, and so he doesn't have the microphone, so he's got to get out on the sidewalk. Yeah.
He speaks his mind. Yeah. All right, I'm going to speak my mind about the Cincinnati Kitty Cats. And again, if you're just tuning in to Let's Talk Steelers, I'm Tanky's Mike. Just because the way the schedule worked this week, the way we filmed the show, we have no idea what happened up in Cleveland, but we're assuming our Steelers took care of business and are now 9-2 as they take on the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, the Bengals running attack is pretty non-existent. I think they're 28th in the league, but you seem to think there's a reason for that.
Well, they first of all, they don't have the O-line, and they don't have Joe Mixon anymore. So there is definitely a little drop off there. They kind of go in the old Bill Walsh, substitute the short passing game for the run game, and that's what Chase Brown's been productive at. Probably 8 catches a game, just some check downs, some short passing, but that's what they're kind of substituting with. They are the number 2 passing offense in the NFL.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's the number 1 in touchdowns in the league right now, number 1 in yards right now, and it's not like he's holding on to the ball long. He gets it out quick.
Like a dart.
So you look at, you got Zach Taylor, who is a Sean McVay descendant. That descendant, they like to, the Rams, they like to run the ball and then get that play action pass game. The Bengals will still play action, not as much as, the Rams will, because they don't run the ball as much. And even though you don't run it, it's still successful to hold those linebackers. But when you got guys like, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and then you got a receiving tight end, Mike Gesicki, you've got multiple weapons all over the field. And when you have a guy like Joe Burrow who can get the ball out quick, accurate, on time, and he's athletic to move around a little bit, they are one of the most productive offenses in the league. I think they are second in yards in the NFL right now. Yeah. So even though where they tend to struggle a little bit is in the red zone, and that's typically what happens when you are a throwing team, because what happens is when you do get down to the red zone, the field is condensed. So now all of a sudden, instead of having to defend, the 60 yards behind you, and you're worried about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins running away from you, you don't have to. You can kind of squat, be a little bit more handsy, a little bit more physical. And if you can't run the football in the red zone, it is definitely a little easier for defenses, hey, I don't have to come up so fast. I can play this pass. And then the windows are smaller because you're playing on a smaller field. The field's much more condensed down there.
Look, the Bengals are 4-7, but their head coach, Zach Taylor, said after the game, do not count us out. Do not count us out, okay? They've been in some close battles with some good football teams, the Chiefs earlier in the years, the Commanders. This is a good football team that is finding its stride. So let's talk about that passing game of the Kitty Cats up against our defense. Mike, this secondary for the Steelers, at times you kind of forget that Joey Porter is only a season and a half into his career. You add Elliott to that mix, Minka, I like the way this secondary is really shaping up, and that's truly going to be the first battle, the first test with the Kitty Cats against our secondary.
Well, that's the one thing. He's a big physical corner, Joey Porter Jr., and he does some good things. He does like that marquee matchup, but I don't necessarily know if he wants that one this week. Jamar Chase, the thing is
he wants it. He's got his dad's blood in him.
Yeah, he does, but you know, Jamar Chase, he is one of the best receivers in the league. Not so, I mean, obviously he runs good routes, he catches the ball, he makes those tough combat catches, but when he gets the ball after the catch, he is dangerous. You see the explosiveness.
Higgins too.
And then T. Higgins as well. He's a big body receiver. They have enough weapons that even if they do want to go man-to-man matchup across the board, someone's going to get open. It's can Joe Burrow find it and recognize that in time? And I'm sure they will do, you know, they'll game plan, they'll have some idea of where they want to attack against the Steelers defense. The Steelers do play a little bit more single high safety than the Ravens have. The Ravens went to a little bit more too high when they played them earlier this year. Even the Chargers, they like to go too high safety, and you saw Joe Burrow still wasn't slowed down. 3 touchdowns against the Chargers, although, you know, they lost by a touchdown. You see how dangerous it is, and the Chargers defense is, you know, number 2 in the league right now, and the Bengals were still able to move it. So you talk about, you know, count them out. You can't count them out. You got to look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got the Baltimore Ravens. You've got the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the Los Angeles Chargers, and then you've got the Buffalo Bills, and then the one team that might sneak in. You know, it's going to be a battle between the Texans and maybe the Colts for that last spot. But then you've got, you know, a couple wild cards. You've got 3 wild cards as opposed to the 2. So could it be, you know, like a Steelers, Ravens, you know, the Steelers get it, and all of a sudden it's Ravens and the Ravens and the Bengals, the Chargers. You know,
I would take the Bengals.
They're in the
that
mix.
Matchup.
Yeah, and
I really would.
well, that's the thing is the Bengals they're dangerous and,
they're very
offensive wise, and so can Pittsburgh keep up with them, or can they keep the ball away from Joe Burrow? Because the Bengals are going to get up their points. You see the frustration on Joe Burrow throughout some of these games when all of a sudden he goes down the field, score, and then all of a sudden their defense just gives up the points. It will wear you down eventually at some point because, hey, I can't, there's only so, how can you keep up that scoring rate and then not have your defense step up? So you can see the frustration on Burrow. However, the Steelers, can they keep pace or can they keep the ball away from Joe Burrow?
I think you've got to definitely give credit to Terrell Austin, one of my PITT teammates. He's doing an outstanding job. You don't hear a lot of accolades given to Terrell, helping design this off defense. He's doing a great job. I love what they did against the Ravens with some of their blitz packages. I mean, they were confusing Lamar Jackson. I really look forward to this matchup with the Kitty Cats of Cincinnati. Mike, we're going to pull their claws out. But as we alluded to, that passing game for the Kitty Cats. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about, well, your Pittsburgh Steelers offense versus the Kitty Cats of Cincinnati. And that thing, it's a pathetic defense. They shouldn't even call it a defense.